Last team of the division in this 2023 NFL preview, we got the NFC East. We've done all the divisions breakdown by breakdown. If you want to follow on GridironSteady, like and subscribe to the channel. Road to 1K. Is this the year for the Cowboys? Is this the year? Now, there's a bit of a NFL media trying to hype up a little controversy involving Dak Prescott and the Cowboys after they made the trade for Trey Lance, a third string guy, right? A guy who is a third string. And it's supposed to be a deal that everyone is saying is going to give the Cowgirls leverage over Dak in contract negotiations. But if this is supposed to be a move to motivate Dak, maybe it could backfire, right? Because I think this season, the Cowgirls have a really good roster. They have a good enough roster to get to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert for the Cowgirls. We got the Dallas Cowgirls going to the Super Bowl. Just going to put it out there right now. The Dallas Cowgirls will go to the Super Bowl. Breaking news. That's right. So, just throwing that out there right there. The Cowgirls will make a Super Bowl appearance this year. And let's get to it. So, we got the Cowgirls, we got the She-Eagles, who are the defending NFC champions. We got Washington. There's been some slight issues with their star wide receiver, Terry, Scary Terry, they calling him. He may not be ready for week 1. We don't know. Something with a turf toe. We don't know how much that's going to affect Washington. It doesn't matter. Washington is really not going to be a threat for the division, but they will make the playoffs. We'll get into that as well. And Danny Dimes got the big contract from the New York Giants, but it's gonna be for nothing because the Giants are going to be the worst team in this division. They're going to be the only team in this division to finish under 500. We're not sold on the New York Giants at all. Not sold. So let's talk about. Obviously, you heard me say that the Cowgirls are going to go to the Super Bowl. So you're probably thinking, well, they're probably going to win the division, and you got that right. We got the Cowgirls finishing at 11-6, tied for the Eagles. Both teams are going to be 11-6, but the Cowgirls will have the tiebreaker because of the common opponent record, right? Because first tiebreaker I think is division. They both going to be 4-2. And then I think the second tiebreaker is common opponent, where the Cowgirls will be 6-1 against common opponents. And the Philadelphia Eagles will be 4-3, which would give the Cowgirls the division and the number 2 seed. And they get the number 2 seed as they're tied with Detroit, but they lost to Detroit in the regular season. So that December 30th game, actually the Washington game is the big key game there because like it's gonna be crazy. So the Washington gets in the playoffs because they beat the Giants in week 18. That's how Washington will get in as the 7th seed. So Dallas, Philly, and Washington will all make the playoffs in the division. Giants won't. Washington gets in at 9-8. They get in by beating the Cowgirls in week 18. That's how they'll do it. And that win will get them over the top. At 9-8, Dallas gets a division. See, if Dallas would have beat Washington in week 18, they probably would be the number 1 seed right out. Or if they would have beat Detroit, right? So the end of the year, the Dallas week 17 and 18, Dallas lose both of those games, but it won't be that bad because they will still end up in the Super Bowl, as I just said earlier. So Dallas 11-6, Philly 11-6 as well, and they're going to now. Could Philly still be? Could Philly win more than 11? Obviously, yes, right? Because we have Philly losing week 1 at New England, which, I mean, that's my bias kicking in. You know, I'm a Pats fan, so of course I picked the Patriots to win their home opener. But could the Eagles go in there and possibly win? Sure, maybe. But I don't think the Eagles are going to be a very good road team this year. We got the Eagles losing at New England, at LA against the Rams, at the Jets, at Washington, at Kansas City, and at Dallas. They're not going to be a very good road team this year, in my opinion. But they'll still make the playoffs. They'll still win 11 games because the Philly is just that good. So Philly they'll be the 5 seed in this scenario if Dallas wins the tiebreaker. Dallas will be the 2 seed because they'll lose the tiebreaker to Detroit, right? In our scenario, they'll lose the 2 seed to Detroit. Detroit will be the 1 seed, default 1 seed. Philly will be the 5 seed, so Philly will be on the road. They'll have to go out to LA, take on the Rams in the playoffs. And they lost to they have to go out to take on the Rams. And remember, they will have, in our schedule, I'll give you a preview here, they lose to the Rams October 8th at LA. So they'll have to go out to LA for the second time and win that game, which I won't tell you right now. I'm not going to spoil it, who I think is going to win. But that's what's going to happen. Dallas will host the playoff game at home at Jerry's house. They'll host the Washington Redskins. I mean... Redskins. Can they get that name back? Can we just give them back that name? Can we? Because we know them as the Redskins, okay? Not the football team, not the Commanders. What a stupid name, Commanders. Commanders? Who came up with that? Give them back the Redskin name, okay? Even the Redskins, even the Native Americans are like, give them back the name. They don't care. All right. Anyway, so the Washington team, the Commanders, will be on the road. They're going to take on the Dallas Cowboys in that playoff game. So we'll see how that pans out. Yeah. So let's recap the NFC East. 11-6 for the Cowgirls. 11-6 for the She-Eagles. 9-8 for the Commanders. And 7-10 for the New York Giants. We're going to be watching a situation in New York with Saquon Barkley. You know, he's been a little upset, jealous because Danny Dimes got paid, which was ridiculous, but they had to give him the money. What was the Giants going to do, right? They had no choice but to pay him. They bet it. They took a risk. They bet on a quarterback. You either pay too soon or you pay too late. But in Danny's case, you had to pay him, right? Just in case, right? Because he had a good year last year. It wasn't great, but he could have a better year this year. Then you're like stuck to pay him even more. So you get the deal out the way. Is it a bad deal? Probably. If Danny Dimes becomes even better, which I don't see. I'm not a Danny Dimes guy. I'm just playing devil's advocate. If Danny Dimes becomes even better, then that deal may turn out to be solid. I'm just not sold. I believe I'm more so on the line of the team is probably as good as Saquon Barkley takes them, not Danny Dimes. But then at the same time, you can't really give all your money to a running back. So I kind of understand the Saquon nation, Saquon fans, and their take on that, and the detractors of Danny Dimes. I get it. It makes sense. So, Giants last place, 7-win team. The Washington situation is going to be interesting because of the offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, right? Eric Bieniemy took over as offensive coordinator after being an offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, winning the Super Bowl. And he left, or got fired, or got moved, or got traded, whatever. I don't know. But really weird, right? Because usually if you win the Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, you think that your next gig would be a head coaching job. But instead you go and take the offensive coordinator job at Washington. You know, it's kind of really strange. Now, this guy is a unique situation, right? Because he's been on like 1 million interviews, and apparently no one thinks this guy can be a head coach. Even with the referrals of the likes of playing side by side with Andy Reid. I mean, we've seen countless coaches get head coaching gigs that were terrible, right? Guys that was on the Belichick tree, Parcells tree, and some of these guys pan out, some don't, right? A whole bunch of Belichick guys got jobs and were terrible. Joe Judge and I mean, Vrabel's doing pretty good in Tennessee. McDaniels with Denver, I mean, he was okay. But a few other guys, they all get head coaching gigs, whether it be college or they go to college and they come back, or they do whatever. Maybe, I honestly think Bieniemy, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe if things don't go well with Ron, what's his name, Ronnie Rivera? That's his name. Maybe things don't go well over there. Maybe Bieniemy thinks I'm going to take that job. Now, here's the key here, guys. Sam Howell is the quarterback, but Jacoby Brisket. That Brisket kid, man, he sure is a dual threat. Now, Jacoby Brissett is the backup, right? It's QB2. Kind of similar, you know, dual quarterback. Maybe Eric Bieniemy might be cooking up something. And how about this? Is Bieniemy really the offensive wizard over there, or was it all Andy Reid? I guess we're going to find out this year as now we know the answer to that, but we of course we're going to still ask. I almost messed that up again. I'm getting better with it. I'm getting better. Bear with me here, guys. So we're going to find out. Many of us already know, but we're going to find out anyway. Now, what happens if the Washington does well and Kansas City offense starts to take a dip? Are people going to say, well, Bieniemy was the genius over there? But Sam Howell he ain't no Patrick Mahomes, okay? That's just Jacoby Brissett ain't no Patrick Mahomes. Let's just be honest. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that pans out for the season. But they're going to have the Washington Commanders are going to play well in the second half. Right around that week 11, week 12, they start to get going a bit. They have some key victories at home against Miami. They'll win out in LA against the Rams on the road. And they'll win 5 of their last 6 games. That's how they'll get in the playoffs. 4 of the last 5 games, excuse me. That's how they'll make the playoffs. With the late season stretch. You know those teams, there's always teams out there that has those late season runs that pull off like 4 out of 5, 3 in a row, 4 in a row, and they get to the playoffs. That's going to be the Washington Commanders. They're going to get it late. Maybe they catch on. Maybe this offensive system that Eric Bieniemy brings over is going to pan out. And it's going to get kicking late in the year. Maybe. Who knows? All right. Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, who everyone thinks is the next great thing, got to the Super Bowl last year. Let's see any key games. We're going to have a key game to look out for this team. Will be week 11 Monday Night Football at Kansas City. At Kansas City, that's going to be big. They got a Monday night at Tampa. Who the hell's going to watch? Tampa sucks. September 25th, Monday night ABC game against the Tampa Bay. Tampa's garbage. They're going to be a 5-win team. That's a Monday nighter though. Maybe they thought Tom Brady was gonna be suiting up. I don't know. Maybe Baker Mayfield's good. Who knows? Doubt it, but maybe. Yeah. So, and then they got a Sunday night game at Miami, which I mean not at Miami, at home hosting the Miami Dolphins. That's gonna be a pretty good one. That could be a pretty good one, right? Especially if Tua is playing well. I got those speedy receivers in Miami. They're gonna be in Philly. So they gotta go out there. October is gonna be it's not gonna be cold. Should be pretty good football weather. So that might be a nice game. Obviously the division games are good, like the Dallas, Eagles, Dallas, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean this schedule is solid, right? There's some games here that I think the Eagles are they're gonna struggle. They're gonna be okay early on. I think after week 11, they're gonna turn it on and get hot. They'll finish the year winning 6 of the last 7. That's how they'll end up at 11 wins. But it'll be that key loss to Dallas December 10th is what's gonna pretty much on Sunday Night Football is going to kind of be the deciding factor, at least from a tiebreaker standpoint. So that's that. Yeah, and then Dallas is going to have a great year. They're going to play well against the common opponents. They're going to be 8-4 in many of these nice games. They're going to play well. I believe that the fire, Jerry has lit a fire under Dak Prescott and those Cowboys, and they're going to have their best year. Not record-wise, but I think this team this year is going to be better overall than last year's team as far as just the flow of the team. I think they're going to go all the way to I believe that looking at the NFC and how weak it is, I believe that Dallas can have Philly's number this year. The Phillies are really their only threat in the NFC, in my opinion. Every other team is pretty much open. And I think Dallas or Philly, like when you have these division rivals, right? It kind of reminds me back, if you go back to the years where, it's not a really great comparison, but you remember how the Patriots were like so dominant in the AFC throughout these years, but they had a couple of years where they would lose to the Jets, right? Because the Jets know the Patriots, right? Was the Jets better than the Pats? No, but somehow Rex Ryan was able to put together a good defensive plan, able to beat the Patriots a couple times. I think it was like once or twice. I don't remember exactly. I know it was one time in the playoffs, and they were able to get the best of New England, and it happens. Like, especially in the division, you meet in the playoffs. So you meet a division opponent in the postseason, it could go either way. It's not like, oh, I'm better, we're gonna beat you. So I think this is the year that if Philly meets Dallas, which we have them meeting up in the divisional round, they will meet up. I think you're gonna see Dallas at home because they're gonna have home field advantage in our scenario. Now, if it's the reverse way and Philly's at home hosting Dallas, it probably doesn't end that the way that we say. But being that we have Dallas as the home team, the number 2 seed, we think that while Philly may possibly be the better team, right? I think Dallas, if Philly is better than Dallas, it's not by a lot, right? I really think that this Dallas team is probably just as good top to bottom as Philly, or could be just as good. Of course, the quarterback is always the wild card, but if Dak doesn't turn the ball over, and you're probably saying, well, what about their running back situation? Zeke is gone. They got Tony Pollard, blah, blah, blah. Look, that's going to be a situation. We don't know how that's going to pan out. We don't know. I think that Dallas team overall is going to be good enough. I trust McCarthy. I think McCarthy can put some things together, right? They have Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, 2 wide receivers, Tony Pollard. I think that the wide receiver room in Dallas is good enough just to keep up with Philly. And Dallas has a good defense. So, led by Michael Parsons. So, I see it. I see Dallas. If the O-line holds up, right? Zach Martin and those guys. I think people are going to sleep on the Cowgirls this year. They're going to sleep. And they're the only team I think that could beat Philly, and I think they beat Philly. I really do. I think they beat Philly. Philly's a little cocky too, right? You know, somebody needs to knock the cheesecake out of their bellies. They're a little cocky. It's not easy to get back-to-back Super Bowls. It's just not easy. It doesn't happen often. You know, even teams that are younger that get there, you know, Philly's gonna get hit. They're gonna get sent back to reality, in my opinion. So that's that. Recap one more time before we get out of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to watch game-by-game breakdown on if you're wondering how we got to Dallas and Philly tied at 11 wins, if you're thinking, man, this guy's crazy, man. The Philly, they're going to win 13, 14 games. Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing ever. If you really want to know how we got to that, go to SportsSteady TV on YouTube and watch win-loss breakdown by breakdown, because that's what we did. We got all 32 NFL teams, all 32 NFL team prediction on wins and losses to come up with the number that we did. We didn't just pull it out of thin air. Like, I didn't just say, 11 wins, boom. No, I actually went through the schedule and I put win-loss, you know, what I thought was going to happen. Of course, it's just a prediction. It's not like, you know, it's going to happen. But I will guarantee you this, that if it doesn't happen exactly the way I say it, I'm not going to be that far off. I really don't believe that. I really don't believe I will be far off. So, if you got money, don't bet based on what I say, of course. This is not, I do not give out gambling advice. But, pretty safe to say the Cowgirls are going to be pretty good this year. Barring injury, of course. All this is barring injury. If injuries happen, of course, that changes the whole dynamic, but that's part of football, so we always consider that as we make the predictions. No excuses. Even with injuries, no excuses. So, recap one more time. Dallas Cowgirls 11-6, Eagles 11-6, or She-Gulls. Commanders 9-8, and the New York Giants 11-10. Playoffs, 3 teams. This is the best division in the conference by far. I mean, it's not even close. This is by far the best division, top to bottom. Giants could also be a 10-win team if things turn a play here and a play there. So this is the best division in the conference by far. So we got 3 teams going to the postseason: Dallas, Philly, and Washington. Dallas would be 2 seed, Philly would be 5, and Washington would be 7. Now, could it be Dallas? Could it be Philly, Dallas, Giants? Yeah, it could be. Could it be Dallas, Philly, Giants? Yeah, right. It could be, but we got Dallas, Philly, Washington. So that's that. All right, guys, that's it for the NFL NFC East preview. We got the other 5 divisions up on GridironSteady. Also, we got the playoffs. We're going to break down playoff matchups, who we think is going to match up in the playoffs, and who will win and who will get to the Super Bowl in our last video right before the season. So look out for that video. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Flood the comments if you disagree. If you are a Cowboy Nation or a Fly Eagle Fly or a Commando or a New York Giant fan, a Vagina fan, New York Giants, let us know why you think we're crazy about our predictions, especially the Giants fan. I know the Giants. Look, you know I don't like the Giants. I hate the Giants. To beat us twice in the Super Bowl, I hate them. I hate their guts. So I never say anything good about them. I did give Danny Dimes a little bit of credit, though. I thought he was solid. But screw the Giants. They suck. So yes, my prediction on the Giants is slightly biased. And so that's that. All right, guys. Last time, Cowgirls, She-Gulls, Commandos, the Giants. Done. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.